This is a practice that would be helpful for anyone experiencing depression in a mild form or even more intense. There are certain ways that we can work with depression through breathing and through natural rest and through inquiry that I thought would be helpful to do as a practice. You can do this sitting up or in Shavasana, lying on your back. However it is that you're positioned, see if you can be comfortable. Take a moment to get yourself organized so that you're feeling supported in the environment that you're in, that you're warm enough, that you can relax the muscles of your body as we're doing the practice. And as we start, take a look at your overall experience. Tune into how you feel in this moment. Our experience is composed of our physical body, the energy in the body, the thoughts in the mind, the observing of the thoughts, and the space in which all of this is arising. So we have all of these layers of experience, and as we go through the experience, we're going to go through the body looking at the physical, the energetic, the thoughts. In particular, today we're looking for any signs of depression or low energy, anything that would indicate to us that, okay, this is where it is. This is how I know that I feel depressed. So to start, one of the principles of working with depression is that we want to keep our energy balanced and not to be overstimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. One of the ways that depression sometimes shows up is that we have a long or longer exhalation and a long pause at the end of the exhalation. So let's work first with your breath and see what the pattern is with the breath. Notice as you're breathing in that you come to the end of the inhalation and then let it smoothly move into the exhalation. See if you can have the exhalation about the same length. Don't have a long kind of sighing exhalation. See if you can keep it about the same. So if you're inhaling to a count of 3, exhale to a count of 3. And then right away into the inhalation, count of 3, exhale, count of 3. So whatever the length of your breath is, count the inhale and match the exhalation to that so that you're breathing at the same rate on the inhale and on the exhale. And that there's no long pauses or breaks. There's a turnaround in the breath. But as soon as you finish your exhalation, let your inhalation begin. Let the new breath come in, nurture the cells in your body. When you're finished inhaling, release and relax that. And as soon as you finish the exhale with that count, so that it's about the same length, then inhale and focus your attention on that for a moment. It's very important to breathe smoothly without any breaks or pauses, and not to overdo the parasympathetic nervous system, which gets stimulated on the exhale. So exhale the same length as the inhale. Keep the breath smooth and continuous. Keep that count going in your mind. And set an intention now in your mind that as you move through the day, that you're going to keep track a little bit of your breath, that you'll notice if you're exhaling and inhaling about the same length. And if you notice that there's pauses at the end of the exhalation, just move them smoothly into the inhale. After a while of looking and paying attention to this habit of breathing, our breathing will start to naturally become more even and smooth, will work better for our whole system. So keep being a little bit of an eye on the breathing and on the pattern of the breath. Let's start to move through the body. We're really not trying to do anything right now other than notice what our experience is. So as we start at the top of the head, notice the scalp and the forehead, the eyebrows and the eyes. Let the muscles of the forehead soften. The eyes are closed and our attention is turned inward in an active way. Notice the sensation of energy behind the forehead, what's going on with the mind. There's always an energetic feel to our mental experience, our thought stream. Sometimes the thoughts are kind of slow and sluggish. Other times the mind might be racing, or there might be compulsive thoughts, a compulsive nature to the mind. So notice just on an energetic level, not the content itself, but just energetically, what does your mind feel like in that space just behind the forehead? Sometimes there's a dullness or a fogginess. Sometimes there might be clarity. So in this moment, not really all of the other times, but just right now, notice what's happening in your mind, in the area behind the forehead, in the thought stream. Keeping the forehead relaxed, your attention turned inward. And perhaps you're finding something in that observation that feels like, yeah, that's it. That's how I know that I'm depressed. There might be thoughts coming up. Could be the feeling of energy there feels dampened or depressed or sad or something. So whatever your experience is as you're paying attention to that, we're just noticing. This is my experience right now. This is the sensation. Maybe there are images coming up or thoughts, words. And keeping an eye on the breath as you're paying attention to this. Let the breath continue that smooth rhythm. And then bring your attention down a little bit into the mouth. Notice the corners of your lips, the tongue, the feeling of the air flowing along the back of the mouth. Notice if your teeth are clenched or if there's enough room so that you can have a bit of space between the upper and lower jaws. Relax the muscles around the hinges of the jaw. And notice the energy or sensation in this part of your head. And notice if there's any images. Sometimes we'll have an image of the energy itself. Oftentimes there's shapes or a feel to the image. If that's the case, you could take a moment now and look at the images that come up when you're paying attention to the head, the thought stream, your mouth and jaw, down into the neck. Noticing if it feels like this is how I know that there's depression here. There's something about the feel here that's familiar. And that may or may not be the case. If it is, notice that. If it's not, notice that. And continue to be aware of that even, unbroken flow of the breath. And then come down through your neck, noticing if there's any energy or sensation in your neck. Noticing what's happening at the back of the neck and the shoulders, all those large muscles of the back. And as you come down into the back of the body, let yourself be supported by the chair or the floor, the bed. And notice what it feels like to really just let your whole body sink into that support. Become aware of your whole back of your body for a moment, from the back of the head, back of the neck, shoulders, down through the hips and the back of the legs, the heels, the soles of the feet. And notice if there's anything about that experience in the back of your body that feels sad or feels depressed. There's no right or wrong answers, we're just looking. If it feels like, yeah, that could be where it is, then notice how it is you know that. Maybe it's an image or a thought. It might be something about the energy. And keeping awareness of this evenness of the breath again. Come back up to the top of the head, through the head and the neck, and into the middle of the body, the chest, the muscles that cover the rib cage, the front, the muscles that cover the stomach area. And notice how in this part of the body there is some movement with the breath. So once again, we're focusing on this evenness of the breath and the continuity of the flow. We're not working with the breath with effort that creates anxiety. We're really just relaxing the body, allowing the breath to be even and smooth. And if we have a habit or a pattern of long exhalations and then a pause between, then it would be natural that we would need to put our attention to that for a while before it starts to shift. It might feel kind of unnatural even. So if that's your experience, just keep a light touch on that, not trying to make the breath different, just noticing the breath and seeing if you can allow it to be more even and without any break. Notice how the muscles of your body move with the breath, and notice where the movement is. Ideally, if we're breathing diaphragmatically, the movement is in the lower part of the rib cage, into the stomach area. So count the inhale again, and as you're counting the inhale, notice the expansion of the body, the rib cage, the stomach area. As you're counting the exhalation, notice how everything settles a bit. And then bring your attention as well into the energy or sensation in the heart area, the heart and lungs physically, the heart center energetically. If you want, you could put your hand on your heart for a moment. Bring your attention into that area behind the muscles and the skin of the chest wall, right into the center of that area. Notice if there's anything sad or depressed feeling about this part of your body. Sometimes there could be a feeling of woundedness in the heart center, the heart area. There might be a feeling of gray or fog, so you can't really contact that area. There could be calm. We can't really predict what's going to be our experience when we go looking. So notice as you're paying attention, what is the felt experience in your heart center? And how is it that you know that? Is there something about the sensation that gives rise to a certain kind of label for it? Maybe there are memories or images coming up. There could be a sensation that feels like, yeah, that's it. That's how I know that I'm depressed, because this sensation is here. And it seems to go along with a whole constellation of other things, like a certain kind of thought, no energy to get up and move. Notice your experience directly as you're paying attention to that. Notice that you're still breathing. If you've kind of stopped or stalled with the breath, just reactivate it again. Let it move again. And bring your awareness into the area of the stomach as well, below the diaphragm, the stomach, navel center, lower belly. Once again, we're paying attention, noticing if this is where the sadness is. Just looking right now in your own experience. What's your experience right now as you're paying attention to the stomach area? There's the physical movement of the breath. There might be energy or sensation. There may be thoughts. Sometimes a whole stream of thought can be triggered when we're looking at something. And that's okay. That's just one of the ways that the mind works. So along with the stream of thought, notice that that's what's happening, if it is. Notice that the breath is still moving. There's something that's observing the experience. And then letting that observation go, move your attention into your legs. Sometimes when we're feeling depressed, we feel kind of immobilized. Look to see if there's some evidence for that in your legs. Could be the upper legs, the lower legs, soles of your feet, your toes. Or maybe it's all through your legs, maybe even through your whole body. There's no right or wrong way for this to experience. We have these experiences in our body that we notice. Right now we're just looking at the legs, paying attention if there's a feeling of sadness or depression or immobilization through the legs. And wiggle your toes, move your heels and ankles and feet around just for a moment. Notice if that changes your experience. So notice if even if you have a feeling of immobilized there, if you can still move your legs. Tighten your thigh muscles, release them. Do that 2 or 3 times. And then bring your attention back to your whole body again, from head to toes. And notice your experience. We have the physical body, the muscles and bones. We have energy in the body. And that can come in all kinds of forms. There's such a variety to our experience in the body. There can be a feeling of activity, happiness, calm, depression, stuckness, fear. There can be such a variety of experiences. And yet when we have one particular type of experience that seems to predominate, it can feel very easily like that's the only experience that we can have in our bodies. So before we finish the exercise, thinking back over what you've noticed during this practice. We've been paying attention to the physical body, but more than that, we've been paying attention to that equal rhythm of the breath, the smooth, unbroken pattern of the breath. Noticing what the habits are. If we're having pauses in the breath, we're trying to make the breath more continuous just through a gentle, light effort. And we've been looking at the energy in the body, looking to see if we can find sadness or depression, low energy, stuck energy. So be aware of that in your whole body. Notice your experience now, keeping an eye on the breath as well. And then open your eyes without moving your body. Just open your eyes. Let your eyelids come up. Let the light and the color come in. And then take a look around the room. You can move your head to the side, up. Look at the colors and the shapes that come in. Look to see if there's any sadness or depression anywhere in the room, anywhere in your visual field. So we're not ever arguing with our experience. If our experience is that there's a feeling of sadness or depression here, we experience that within the space that our bodies are in. And now we're opening the eyes and looking to see if it's out in the room around us as well. Is it in the sky, if you can see outside? Is it in the floor? Is it in a certain picture? And extend your gaze off into the distance as far as you can see without really moving around too much. If you can see out a window, look up into the sky or out to the trees. And focus on your breath in that position for a moment. Notice if you can have the breath as an even, continuous flow. And if it seems like that's too much trouble, notice that too. We're not looking for any feeling of making ourselves right or wrong. We're really just looking to see what our experience is in this moment and how that experience is made up. It's made up of sensation, energy, memories, thoughts, these observations. And then if you're lying down on your back, roll over to your left side. Focus on the flow of energy in the right nostril for a moment and on the energy in the whole right side of your body. If you're sitting, sit up straighter. And as we are completing the practice, notice that this is something that we could do at different points during the day, at different times. Just take a look, see what's going on energetically in the body. See if there's some feeling of sadness or depression, some feeling of low energy. What's your experience now, and what's your experience going to be a few hours from now? Just remembering to check in with that. Keep your eyes open as you're looking around through the day as well. Notice if you're tending to have your eyes really downcast and really kind of closed in. That can contribute to a feeling of being closed in the body. If you're working on a computer, look up once in a while, look out a window. And also remembering to keep your feet on the ground. So noticing if you open your gaze, if that might lead to some feeling of anxiety, then also remind yourself that you've got your physical body here, you're in your body, you're grounded in the environment that you're in. And play with that combination of being settled and grounded and secure, and also being open, having a wider open experience in space. And come back to the practice many times, noticing how our experience changes. And take this awareness out with you into the day.